If you have gotten snow and you're like, I don't want it, somebody take it, I will gladly take this snow off your hands and be snowed in so I could just read all day long. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. I can't believe this is the last Top 5 Wednesday video that I am filming for this year. Next Wednesday, I won't have a Top 5 Wednesday because it's usually the last Wednesday of the year. Usually we do our top 5 books of this year, and I've already filmed that video I did with Geeks That Parent. It was so much fun. Please check it out if you're curious about my top 10 manga that released in 2022. But anyway, we're on Top 5 Wednesday. Again, it's sort of surreal that this is the last one I'm filming for 2022, but don't worry, there will be more Top 5 Wednesday in the upcoming year. Very, very excited. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, in a nutshell, basically each week I answer a prompt using 5 books, but in this case I do manga to reflect the said prompt. If you'd like to check out what the other prompts are from this month or see the ones that are going to be coming up next year, definitely check out the link down below. Today's prompt is books you want to have on hand when you're snowed in. I made that longer than what it actually the prompt says, but yeah, so books that you want to have if you were snowed in, because it's winter time, and chances are if it's winter, chances are you're going to be getting snow. We have not gotten snow, but we would love some snow. And usually if there's snow, that might mean that you might get snowed in, or you're just like, well, you know what? I'm not snowed in, but it's snowing. I'm not going outside braving those roads, because that would definitely be me right now. So what are some books that you would like to have on hand if you were snowed in or just staying home in really bad winter conditions? I had so much fun with this prompt. I was like, we're going to do some picks that I have been reading or wanting to read, and I am just so excited. So we're going to go ahead, dive in, because honestly, all of my picks are, yeah, they're pretty long series, and I feel like that's probably one of the best time to start long series because you have nowhere to go. You can just straight binge read, which is my preference. And so the series that I recently started as of like yesterday before filming this video is Otome. Oh my goodness, this first volume was amazing. I had tried an older manga series and I did not love it, unfortunately, and I ended up selling it, and so I was really nervous when it came to starting the series. But as I was reading volume 1, within that first chapter, I was hooked. I was like, I love our main character. His name is Asuka. Yeah, he is so precious. He is an amazing character. If you're looking for a shoujo manga that has gender roles reversed, this is so good. This is so good. Lots of humor, lots of great cute moments, and I've really just enjoyed seeing Asuka thrive. Well, he's starting to thrive. His friends are helping him be, I guess, what do they call him? A girly guy, that he can embrace girly things because he loves girly things. He knows how to sew, he knows how to cook, but he's also like amazing at like judo, jujitsu, and there's one more, I think it's kendo. He's like the #1 in the nation kind of thing. He comes across as really masculine, but deep down, like I said, he just loves girly things, but he hides that away due to something that happened in his life when he was younger, and he's just sort of hidden that side of him or that part of his self so that nobody knows, but it's starting to come out and I absolutely love it. It just shows how important it is to surround yourself with people who love you for you, the genuine you, where you don't have to hide or lie about who you really are deep down. And there's a lot of just great other things that factor in. I love this guy right here. I had mixed feelings with him at first just because I'm like, I don't know how I feel about, like, there's certain things involving his character I won't say because of spoilers, but I really enjoy just him, Asuka, and I don't know how you say the girl's name, but she is absolutely hilarious. Like, she's not necessarily funny, but the way her role is in the story is very funny. So I have loved this. I am so thankful that I picked up this series. I think it was a few months ago because I heard it was going out of print, and I was like, oh man. I told my husband, I was like, I'm sorry, but it's time to binge buy this because our library doesn't have it, and I am so thankful to have it on hand. Definitely just reading the first volume, I can definitely see myself rereading this again, and if I'm snowed in, I'm gonna read the rest of the series. It's 18 volumes, and my goal right now is to finish this before the year ends, so I'm hoping that I can meet that goal, because if I read this series, I would have read the 10 series that I really want to read by the end of this year. So if it snows and I'm snowed in, Otome is definitely the #1 pick that I am definitely going to be reading when snowed in. It is so good and highly recommended. Now for #2, originally this was going to be my #1, and technically this is one series, but I'm going to show both series. I know I'll explain, it's very complicated. But I'm going to say QQ Sweeper and Queen's Quality. So technically this is one series. Like QQ Sweeper goes right into Queen's Quality. You don't want to read Queen's Quality without reading QQ Sweeper because QQ Sweeper comes first. And so there was like a change of magazines. And so it got a new name, got a new title. And yeah, but it's the same story, same characters. Oh my goodness. This series is so good. It's definitely a darker shoujo manga. I never ever would expect it to love this as much as I did. In fact, a year ago, I tried QQ Sweeper. It was super close to Christmas, and I was like, this is not Christmassy. And I ended up dropping it and returning it to my library. And anyway, I don't know why. I just decided to pick it up and try it again. Oh, I know why. I went to the library. I went to pick up a manga for my husband, and I saw that they actually had all of Queen's Quality because I've been really wanting to try it. I know like Christy Liu and Colleen and Shay, they love this series. They are the hype girls for this series. And so I was like, you know what? They finally have all of Queen's Quality. I'm just going to go ahead and take it and I will check out QQ Sweeper. Like I had to put a hold on it. I will check that out and I'm just going to binge read it. And so I started it. I could not put this series down. In fact, I had sold a bunch of manga probably about 2-3 weeks ago, and I used some of the money I made from selling that manga to actually buy all of Queen's Quality up to volume 16. I also got volumes 2 and 3 of QQ Sweeper. Volume 1 is out of stock everywhere. I'm not going to say it's out of print. I'm just going to say it's out of stock. You can back order it on Right Stuff. I definitely did that. But this series, it is hard to put it into words of how moving this series has been for me. I shared a reel recently, or a YouTube short of QQ Sweeper, because I read the first 3 volumes and I'm like, I don't feel that I can accurately explain how impactful this series has been. Yes, it's definitely a romance for sure, and Kyutaro is best boy. I'm like, that guy needs some love in just more in the shoujo community. He is such an amazing young man. Absolutely love him. Same as Futaba. Like there's definitely a lot of humor, but the supernatural aspect has actually been my favorite part. And it's hard to say. I decided to put my reading on pause. I've read up to volume 3 now. So I read all of QQ Sweeper and I'm on volume 3 of Queen's Quality. I decided to put it on hold, and I don't know if it's just because it's been really hectic with my kids getting out of school for the holidays. And I'm like, I am not reading this series fast enough where I am happy and content at the rate that I'm reading it. Like I just want to read it faster. I felt like I read the volumes over a longer course of time than I prefer. And I just was like, no, I want to be able to sit down and read like 4 volumes a day because I feel like I can take in more of this story rather than reading like a volume every 3 to 4 days. Like I didn't like that. Like that's not my preferred way to read a series. But this series, hands down, I know is going to be in some of my all-time favorite manga that I've read because I think it was in volume 2. I wrote in my Goodreads review that as I was reading, and it, of all things, it was a really intense scene, a high action scene. I just had like this warm, fuzzy feeling bloom in my chest. And I'm like, this is the same exact feeling I get like when I read Haikyuu, when I read Sign of Affection, Play It Cool Guys, series that I have read more than once and just absolutely love and adore so much. And this series, Queen's Quality, QQ Sweeper, I know is going to be up in there because I can't put it all into words of how much I love it. I just feel it's very inspiring and very encouraging. It's very funny and it's very moving. And there's just so many different qualities to this series that I'm like, everybody needs to read it. It's very, very good. And I have just been encouraged and touched and I love it. I love it so much. So I honestly feel this is another series. If I'm snowed in, I could finally binge read all of this series. For number 3, I am so excited to feature this because this has been on my TBR for a good hot minute. And I'm going to do a huge shout out to Pippa at Strawberry Shoujo. I will leave her link to Instagram down below. For number 3, I'm going to say Night of the Ice. She gifted me volumes 1 and 2 for Christmas, and I was so surprised because I got 2 different packages from Amazon, and I was like, I didn't order any manga. I didn't order anything. Like, I don't know what this is. And then it came and I saw her note and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So I have really, really wanted to read this. It is a sports josei series. And I'm like, I need more josei, shoujo, sports, romance stories, just all of it. I need it. And I have skimmed through volume 1 and I have loved what I have read so very much. Night of the Ice, oh my goodness. It is like gonna be so good. And Oh my goodness. That doesn't say anything. I think it's just because I'm still so excited, so touched that she sent this to me because, like I said, it's just been on my TBR for a really long time. And this one actually feels like it has a wintry touch to it. So it could be a great time to read when you're snowed in. And this series, I think, is only 11 volumes. And it has these great, well, this is actually from the back cover, but I say it looks like it has some really great action scenes woven in with some really, I don't know if slice of life is the right word, but look at this art. Look how cute they look. They look so cute and so precious. And if I'm remembering right, so the young man here, he is an ice skater. And this young woman here, I think is his like childhood best friend. And so in order he feels for him to perform well, he needs her to, I think it's say a spell from a magical girl anime. So she has to say that before he starts. If he doesn't, then, or if she doesn't, he feels like he is going to fail. And so it's sort of, I don't know if it's necessarily their romantic journey. I think it's like their romantic journey or coming to have a romance and his journey as an ice skater. So I'm so excited because this will be, oh, here we go. I found a really good panel. Here's another one. This is a double page spread here. It's so beautiful. I'm really, really excited. She's also the same manga creator of, I don't really know what the formal title is, You're My Pet, and then in parentheses it says Tramps Like Us. I've heard of the series with both titles, so I don't know what the actual title is at this point, but I know that You're My Pet actually won a manga award. It's an award-winning series, so I'm really excited to try this one. Like I said, I feel it's wintry, and this was one, definitely, I was like, if I'm snowed in, hands down, this is one we are binge reading as well. Because I need to know. I need to know and read this series. I know Margaret Reads Manga recently read it and really enjoyed it. I believe Shay Geeks Out has also featured it. I think she did it in series Josei series she completed this year, I think, or Josei series that have been wrapped up or finished this year. So cannot wait to read this. I know I didn't say much about this one either, but just I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Pippa. Continuing our trend of long series for number 4, I am going to say Perfect World because I finally have all of this series, and somebody that I am friends with and that I know in a Discord channel recently just finished reading this, and she said how wonderful and amazing it was, and I'm just like, it's time, Laura. Yep, you can even see it right back there. So this actually is a series that's definitely very high on my TBR to read next year. I am making it a priority because everyone says it's so amazing. And I love Volume 1. I've talked about before, Volume 1 being the very first manga that I reviewed on this channel. I want to see where the series goes. I've read this first volume 2 or 3 times, and I really feel like it's going to be something I continue to enjoy. I have skim read a few of the other volumes as they came in, and I don't know if my heart is ready. I don't know if my heart is ready. I feel like it's ready and not ready, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Where you're like, I'm ready to start this, but I think I'm going to be an emotional wreck by the time this series ends. Like, I honestly feel that's going to be hands down me. I have featured this manga more than once on a variety of top 5 Wednesday videos, I think, this year. Like, one of them that comes to mind is Disability Pride, and oh, this volume was super impactful to me personally, and I could just recommend this volume alone, though I can hear all my friends that have read this series like, no, you have to recommend the whole thing. So I will recommend the whole thing, even though I'm not there yet. I definitely will be doing a video review of this when I do finish it. I love the characters. I love the story. It's very moving, very emotional. I've cried every single time that I've read it, and I'm like, this does not bode well for me because I'll probably cry when I read the rest of the series, but super pumped to read it. And if it snows, this is definitely going on my TBR of books to read when I am snowed in. For number 5, this one is actually not a long series, and that is Josie the Tiger and the Fish. So me and my friend Maeve at Maeve Vereen, she told me that she loved this, and she's like, Laura, you need to read it, and because I had mentioned to her that I had gotten it, I know Marg Reads Manga has recently read it. I believe it's in her like top 5 favorite manga titles of this year. My husband actually watched the movie before me, and I felt sort of bad, like when I think about it in hindsight, because he watched it when I was sleeping, and he was like, man, I just watched this and it's really good. And I was like, stop. I was like, don't tell me a single thing. He's like, no. I'm like, nope. nope, nope, I don't want to hear anything. You can just say it's good and that's it. We'll call it a day, but do not tell me anything. Because he was joking about how this guy reminded him physically, not, I don't think character-wise, but physically he reminded him of Kageyama from Haikyuu. And I was like, nope, I don't even want to hear that. I don't want to hear anything. I was like, I don't want any kind of potential spoilers because in the past my husband has accidentally more than once spoiled stuff for me and he just like didn't even realize. And I'm just like, no. So I really shut him down and I felt bad, like I said, in hindsight for doing that. But this manga, I so want to read. The art is so beautiful. Unfortunately, with this one, I don't know too much about it because it was one of those like I knew that I would want to read the manga once I heard about the movie. And so I didn't read the blurb for the movie. I didn't even think about reading the blurb for the manga, to be honest. But this is another one I believe has disability pride because she is in a wheelchair. I believe she's wheelchair bound and she can't get out of her house. I don't know if it's because of her grandmother that won't let her leave, but has a very active imagination. And I believe this young man comes into her life. I don't think he's a guardian or caretaker, but he plays a pretty big role in her life, but I don't remember how he does. But he brings some liveliness to her life, and I do believe this is a romance. I feel like almost everybody I know, well, minus my husband, I know that, but almost everybody I know has gotten very emotional when reading this. I do feel like this is another good one to read when snowed in, even though I'm pretty sure this takes place during the summertime, but I'm not a huge mood reader in the sense of like when it comes to a seasonal mood reader. I'm not a big seasonal mood reader. I try to be because I know other people are and I get sort of caught up in that, but I feel like in general I just have giant mood reader problems, and that's actually why I have not read this yet, because then my mood was like, you know what, we want something funny, and so I've just been caught in that mood readerness where I've just been randomly, honestly, the past few days reading random things from like shonen that I've had on my shelf for a long time to kaiju to, no, excuse me, those were aliens, those were not kaiju, my bad, and then just reading fluffy stuff like Otomen. So I am all over the place right now, but I really do look forward to reading this. Another volume, well, series. I think this is like an omnibus, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I am very much looking forward to reading this next year. Another opportunity where I'm like, it's been on my TBR, and so I'm snowed in. This is the kind of manga that I just need to read. And last but not least, for my honorable mention, I'm very excited to feature this one as well, and that is Snow White with the Red Hair. I'm pretty sure that it is the giveaway for the Shoujo Manga Starter Pack. I'm pretty sure more than one person has gushed about how good this series is, and I'm like, guys, I need to get back on this series. I've read the first 4 volumes. It is one of the one of the very few shoujo titles that, regardless of where I am, back at the beginning, I pre-order every single volume. I have done that since I found and discovered this series years ago. I was always adding with myself that I would never not pre-order a Snow White with the Red Hair volume because I love the beginning. And anyway, so that because on that video, in the comments, when I respond to them and seen them, people are gushing about how great this series is, and I'm like, it's time. It's time to get back on this hype train. It's time to get back into this series. And so I wanted to feature it because if I'm snowed in, I want to read Snow White with the Red Hair. I think we're up to volume 22 now, and I just keep hearing people say it just gets better and better. This was the first shoujo fantasy that I ever tried, and I just love it. It has a very special place in my heart. And what's funny is saying that, if it has a special place in my heart, why am I so behind? Why am I so behind on this amazing series? So I'm doing this as an honorable mention. If I had the time and I'm snowed in, this series is definitely going to be one that I want to catch up on. It's another one that I'm making a priority next year to catch up, even though I'm like, I know, Laura, that you'd like for all the volumes to be out and then binge read it, but I'm getting impatient with myself. I'm getting impatient. I'm desperate to have more of them, more answers, and see where this story goes. And I suppose that are all my picks. I feel like today was super rambly, so thanks for bearing with me. I hope that you enjoyed my rambles and all my picks. I would love to know, what manga would you choose if you were snowed in and that you want to read, or it could just be books as well. I would love to hear from you, friends, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and a very happy holidays to all of you guys. So very thankful for each one of you. Bye!